Set Bear.
You must have heard about green economy, right? Based on World Resource Institute, green economy itself can be defined as an alternative vision for growth and development, one that can generate growth and improvements in people's lives in ways consistent with sustainable development. Meanwhile, greeneconomycoalition.org defines green economy as one that provides prosperity for all within the ecological limits of the planet. It is important to note that the concept and definition of green economy itself are still debatable, and each definition might differ for different parties or organizations. Sometimes this perspective overlap and might even contradict with each other. In its simplest expression, a green economy can be thought of as one which is a low carbon, resource efficient, and socially inclusive. Based on a report entitled Principles, Priorities and Pathways for Inclusive Green Economies, launched on July 16, 2019 at the UN High-Level Forum on Sustainable Development in New York, there are 5 basic principles of green economy, which are: the well-being principle is a green economy enables all people to create and enjoy prosperity. Second is the justice principle. The green economy promotes equity within and between generations. Third, the planetary boundaries principle. The green economy safeguards, restores, and invests in nature. Fourth, the efficiency and sufficiency principle. The green economy is geared to support sustainable consumption as well as sustainable production. And the last one is the good governance principle. The green economy is guided by integrated, accountable, and resilient institutions. So here are the 5 basic principles of green economy. Green investment and green energy in Indonesia. Developing a green economy is often in line with the discussion of green investment. So green investment is an investment activity that focuses on companies or investment prospects that are committed to natural resource conservation, production and discovery of alternative sources of new and renewable energy or EBT, implementation of clean water and air projects, as well as investment activities that are friendly to the environment. Efforts to improve the economic condition in Indonesia are met with the perfect solution, a green economy. Green energy, a concept that came from the green economy itself, has now become the main focus of investment in Indonesia. This is because Indonesia has an abundance of natural resources in the energy sector. Indonesia has the largest nickel reserve in the world, which is followed by cobalt, lithium, and manganese. The key is that the green economy doesn't harm the environment as it doesn't release greenhouse gas emissions into the atmosphere. The fact that it is environmentally friendly combined with Indonesia's abundant natural resources makes green energy is the perfect sector for investment in Indonesia. The natural resource mentioned before will be used to produce electric vehicles in Indonesia. The electric vehicle battery cell factory will be the first built in Southeast Asia and is the result of the Indonesian government's collaboration with the Hyundai Motor Group and LG Energy Solutions. The factory's production capacity will reach 10 gigawatts per hour. It is targeted to start operating by the year 2023. President Joko Widodo has revealed that Indonesia will build a green industrial area in North Kalimantan. This green industrial area will be the largest in the world and will utilize green energy to drive industry. Not only will it utilize green energy, but the industry in it will also produce new and renewable energy. The green industrial area will rely on hydropower, which will be built by PT Kayan Hydro Energy by taking advantage of the flow of the Kayan River that stretches across the province. It is hoped that this project will further help Indonesia's transition from relying on fossil fuel to using more new and renewable energy. The urgency to act for sustainable recovery, President Jokowi aimed for Indonesia to transform towards renewable energy and accelerate economic development based on green technology. This transformation aims to build a more resilient economy to prepare Indonesia to face future challenges such as economic recovery from COVID-19 pandemics, climate change effect on our economic activities, and global geopolitical effects. Indonesia development will be more directed towards a green economy so that it can prioritize the principle of sustainability in Indonesia's future development. The development strategy does not only rely on economic growth, but also considers the principle of sustainable aspects. As we can see, entering phase 2, there are already signs of a decline in COVID-19. Even though restoring the economy at that time was not enough, it is better to jointly prepare a solid foundation for Indonesia's economic transformation, as mandated by the Indonesia Vision 2045 report and the Indonesia National Midterm Development Plan 2020 until 2024. A green economy from COVID-19 is a first important step. But now, Indonesia is currently aiming to escape the middle-income trap threats before 2025. Based on a research study by Bappenas with an economic growth of 5% per year, it is impossible for Indonesia to escape this threat. Therefore, Indonesia needs to set a higher target, which means changing the structure of the Indonesian economy with the aim of increasing economic productivity through industrialization. In responding to this, Indonesia has placed low-carbon development as the backbone of achieving zero emissions. Why zero emissions? Because sometimes people use private vehicles too often, which increases carbon emission levels, which also has an impact on the green economic transformation process. And referring to this, President Jokowi has also said about reducing emissions in the Paris Agreement. Emission reduction is carried out by taking the following steps. First, energy field. Transfer the fuel subsidies to the productive sector, increasing the use of renewable energy sources to 23% of national energy consumption in 2025. Second, forest and land sector governance. By implementing one map policy and establishing a moratorium and reviewing permits for the use of peatlands, land management, and sustainable production forests. Third, in the maritime sector, addressing illegal fishing and protection and marine biodiversity. Based on the fact that increases carbon emission, Bappenas has prepared low-carbon development which has been mainstreamed in 2020 until 2024 Indonesia Midterm Development Plan. LCDI has 5 strategic sectors of Indonesia's low-carbon development to achieve high economic growth while reducing emission up to 27.3% in 2024. First, sustainable energy development. Second, green industry development. Third, sustainable land restoration. Fourth, waste management and circular economy. And fifth, low-carbon marine and coastal. Now here, we're looking at each key policies in strategic sectors. For sustainable energy development, key policies is renewable energy utilization, energy efficiency increase, electric vehicles deployment. For green industry development, key policies, process efficiency and industrial waste processing. For sustainable land restoration, key policies, reforestation and decreasing deforestation, and peat restoration. For waste management and circular economy, key policies is resource efficiency, waste banks development, waste management enhancement. And for low-carbon marine and coastal key policies, mangrove rehabilitation and mangrove loss rate decrease. One of the zero-emission scenarios is showing more green jobs related to the use of waste energy land and the industrial sector due to labor-intensive activities, both in the manufacturing and operational processes. The significant green jobs in the energy sector result from the deployment of renewable energy and energy efficiency activities, as well as work related to electric vehicles. The number of green jobs calculated in 3 priority sectors: energy sector, land and forestry sector, and waste sector. With a massive green energy policy, the number of green jobs in the energy sector is projected to increase very rapidly. The subsector that is projected to have the most influence in contributing to green jobs in the energy sector is the production of electric vehicles, which will reach its peak in 2055 with a proportion of 95% of total vehicles. Presiden Joko Widodo's speech about green economy.
Transformasi energi menuju energi baru dan terbarukan harus dimulai. Green economy.
As we discussed earlier, President Joko Widodo will start a groundbreaking green industrial park in North Kalimantan in December 2021. The project was built to support the use of new and renewable energy or EBT. The industrial area will be supported by hydropower from Kayan River in North Kalimantan. This area can also be utilized in the development of new energy battery development that can support government programs related to reducing carbon emission by 2030 through the use of electric vehicles. Not only that, the National Development Planning Agency Bappenas also has planned for green growth economy. The process of developing green projects in three priority sectors: sustainable energy, sustainable landscape, and sustainable infrastructure in the context of special economic zones. In collaboration with the Ministry of Energy and Mineral Resources, the Green Growth Program supports the energy sector, particularly in the renewable energy and energy efficiency subsectors. Taking a green growth approach in energy planning at the national and subnational levels will create a solid foundation for realizing national energy priorities, including strengthening energy security, developing energy infrastructure, increasing the use of renewable energy, and reducing energy subsidies. The National Energy Policy aims to increase the share of new and renewable energy to 16% in 2019 and up to 23% in 2025 to meet national energy needs. In collaboration with the Ministry of Environment and Forestry, this program mainstreams green growth principles and tools into development and economic planning within the jurisdiction. A variety of resource-efficient technology as well as environmentally friendly practice are urgently needed for the forestry and agriculture sectors. Activities to enable and promote the implementation of green growth approach in the context of sustainable landscapes are encourage investment in new business models for forest and peatland management, build a sustainable supply chain, creating new markets for natural capital and ecosystem services, bringing forest managers closer to the forest they manage and to forest-dependent communities, restoring ecosystem at a landscape scale, mobilize forest carbon finance. In collaboration with the National Council for Special Economic Zones, under the Coordinating Ministry for Economic Affairs, the Green Growth Program developed an integrated framework of policy guidelines and instruments linking fiscal policy and macro investment in special economic zones, which can ultimately promote green investment plans and projects. The Green Growth Program seeks to integrate green growth in the design of special economic zones master plans by using extended cost-benefit analysis or ECBA and applying smart city technologies which in the long term can ensure sustainable and socially inclusive benefits. Hopefully, the program from the President Joko Widodo and also the government can be realized according to the promised time.